All right, page 31. We're talking about that this world is a hallway to the world to come. Yes, this is Linzer Tarts. Enjoy.
Was it learning how to become a holy person?
We're only eating the Linzer Tarts in order to so we have the strength to learn Torah. All right, so let's start page 31. Vihine. Ala ikar hazeh hirunu zichronom livracha b'midrash Koheles. This was brought up to us in the Medrash of Koheles. Hashem told Adam Arishon, told Adam, the first man, look at everything, the work of Hashem. When Hashem created Adam, he went to all the trees in the Garden of Eden. Look how wonderful my creations are. Everything that I created for you. Don't mess up my world. So everything in the world is created for man. Man is the pinnacle of creation. We learned this. Even the spiritual beings and the physical creations, everything is for man, because man is the only being really with free will that has a combination of ruchnius and gashmius, physicality and spirituality, that they are able to have the free will to overcome their physical challenges to serve Hashem. Okay, and we also, you see at the end of this medrash, that Hashem tells Adam Arishon, don't mess up the world, because every time we do a mitzvah, something we mentioned many times, we don't only affect ourselves, we don't only get schar and reward for what we do, but also it affects the world. That, as it's talked about a lot in Nefesh HaChaim, the soul of a Jewish person is connected to these higher spiritual worlds, that every time we do a mitzvah or chas v'shalom an avera, that affects how Hashem deals with the world. And that's also represented in the ladder in Yaakov's dream, that the malachim are going up and going down because our actions affect what happens in the heavens and therefore affects what happens in the world. So Hashem tells Adam Arishon, don't mess up the world. We're page 31. Okay, Klal Shel Davar, the last line on page 31. Ha'adam lo nivra ba'avor matzav ba'olam hazeh, ela ba'avor matzav ba'olam haba. Man was not created for his time in this world, but rather for the world to come. Rather, this world is the means of him getting to the next world. Right? We said what's the purpose of creation? The purpose of creation is because Hashem, he is a perfect, benevolent being, wants to do good to creations, and the way that the true place where the creations get enjoyment, and where Hashem does good to the creations, that's Olam Haba, where we get a spiritual pleasure. That spiritual pleasure comes through getting close to Hashem. But since the nature is that we only get true enjoyment when we work for something and we earn it, we're put in Olam Haza, in this world, where we have challenges to overcome and we earn our spiritual pleasure in the next world. So again, the main purpose of creation is Olam Haba, is the next world. But this world is where we achieve the pleasure which we are going to get in Olam Haba, which is the main point of everything. Al Kain, Timsim Hamari Chachmenu Zichron Livracha, Rabbim Kulam B'Signon Echa. We find many statements of Chazal, many statements of the rabbis in one theme. Medam Ha'olam Hazeh L'Makom Uzman Ha'achana. It compares this world to a place of preparation. Va'olam Haba L'Makom Ha'manucha Va'achilas Hamuchan Kfar. And the next world is the place that we're trying to go to, in the place of rest, where we get which we worked for. V'hinei Masha Amar Ha'olam Hazeh Dam L'Prosdor. That's what we said, that this world is like a hallway. Like I mentioned earlier. And we mentioned, from Rav Eli Lapian, that why specifically a hallway and a main room. The hallway is still related to the main room, meaning don't think in this world, even though the main place of where we get this enjoyment and the main purpose of everything is Olam Haba, don't think that there's no enjoyment in this world, meaning there is still spiritual enjoyment in this world. When we do mitzvahs and when we learn Torah, we have a certain spiritual enjoyment, obviously not to the effect that we'll have in Olam Haba, but we can still get that spiritual enjoyment in Olam Haza, in this world, and that's why it's specifically a hallway, because the hallway is still connected to the main place which we are going. So don't think that this world there is devoid of spirituality. That's obviously not true. Also says Hayom la'asosu mumachar l'kabel scharim. Today is when we do, and tomorrow we get our reward. Misha tarech be'erev Shabbos, yochel b'Shabbos. Someone who works on erev Shabbos will eat on Shabbos. Olam haza doma liyavasha, v'olam haba liyam. This world is like the dry land, and olam haba is like the sea. U'ka'ela rabim al zeh hadarech. And there are many Maimarim Chazal. We see this theme going again and again, that this world is the time of preparation, and the next world is the time where we get our reward. Now, there's a famous parable that I'm sure everyone here has heard, but I'll just say it again, that the mashal is that a man heard about an island that just has diamonds. Instead of rocks, it has diamonds. And he takes a boat to go to this island because he wants to collect the diamonds. So he gets there, and he takes bags and bags, and he starts filling up his bags with diamonds and diamonds and diamonds. And all of a sudden, at the end of the day, he realizes that he's hungry. So he goes to the local store, and he takes up a diamond from his bag so he can buy dinner. And the guy says, "Diamonds? What do you mean? We have plenty of these here. No one cares. You have to give me rocks. Rocks is very rare here. That's how you get food." So he goes and he looks for rocks. It's very hard to find, but he eventually finds some. So he gives the guy some rocks, and he gives him dinner, and then realizes he has nowhere to sleep. So he goes to an inn, and the innkeeper again says, "We don't take diamonds here. They're so common here. You have to pay us in rocks." So he goes and he's searching for rocks, and he finds some rocks so he can get this little apartment. But then when he's doing his job to get more diamonds, he would like a larger house. So he spends more time finding rocks. Before you know it, he spends all of his time finding rocks so he can get a big house on this island, and he can have nice meals, etc., etc. And he totally forgets that he was there to get diamonds. And when finally it's time to go back, he comes back with all these rocks to his hometown, and he says, look how much wealth I've accumulated. And people laugh at him. "What, do you have bags of rocks? That's totally worthless," because he wasted his time working on getting the rocks, and he didn't get any diamonds. So the nimshal is obvious. We're in Olam Hazeh. We're in this world to do mitzvahs, and those are the diamonds. And unfortunately, we get distracted, and we spend our time going after money, power, honor, physical pleasures. And after we pass away, after 120, we're going to get to Olam Haba. Not only are those things that we spent our lives working on totally worthless, but we didn't get any mitzvahs, and it was actually detrimental to our souls that we spent so much time. But it's very easy to get distracted, and that's why we get together to learn Musar, so we can remind ourselves what's important. Okay, let's continue, page 33. V'tira be'emes, if we look in truth, shekfar lo yuchal shum ba'al seichel lahamin shetachlis brias ha'adam hu lamatzav ba'olam hazeh. It is impossible for any person with a brain who's thinking to believe that this world is the be-all and end-all. Ki mahim chayei ha'adam ba'olam hazeh. What is a person's life? First of all, how many years does a person live? In reality, people live 70 to 100 years on average. Not only that, whose life is totally relaxed, right? What person has a life which is just filled with everything's going well, his life is tranquil, he doesn't have any issues? It says the pasuk, the years of a person's life are 70 years. If he's strong, 80 years. And most of the time it's filled with hardship and toil. How much pain and sicknesses does a person have and tear does a person have in his life? And after that he dies. So we're alive for 70, 80 years. People are alive on average 70, 80 years. They have hard lives, they have to work, they get sick, they have relatives who get sick, they have pain, they have stress, and then they're dead. And we find that 1 in 1,000 people will really be truly tranquil in this world. And even that person who was tranquil had a tranquil life. After 100 years, he's dead. So Mesilas Yesharim is pointing out, right, that it doesn't make any sense that Hashem would create us for only our purpose in this world. Just logically looking around, it doesn't make sense that, right, we're here for a very short time, and most of the time most people have a lot of difficulties in life, and it's totally illogical that Hashem would create us for just our purpose being this world. Now, if you look at the bottom here, he quotes the Stipler from Chayei Olam, where the Stipler really discusses at length the troubles that a person has in his life. It's actually very depressing, if you think about it, in a way. But the point is to tell us, to reinforce the point that we're not here for Olam Hazeh. The Stipler writes that, right, even if a person is healthy, most people have a relative who's sick, or they know someone who's going through hard times, whether it's, people have shalom bayis issues, they have health issues, they have other stressful issues, parnasa issues. There's so many things, or issues with raising children. There's so many things that happen in life that are so difficult. It doesn't make sense that God would create us for this world and this world alone. He's just coming from a logical perspective, and I think it's only right. This is working with the Hanacha the axiom, or the first point, that we believe there's a God who created us with a soul. Right? I guess you can, even though it's illogical to say this, but the atheist could say, yeah, he's just here for this world, and then he's dead. We're an accident of nature. But once we believe that we were created by God, which is obvious, and that we have a soul, which is also obvious, then it's totally illogical to believe that we're just here for this world. So he continues on page 34. If the purpose of this world, purpose of creating man was for this world, he says, not only that, if God really created us just for this world, then why did he have to give us such a lofty soul? He says the soul is actually created on a higher level than the malachim, a higher level than the angels. So it totally doesn't make sense that God would create us with such a lofty soul for just this world. If you look in the Nefesh HaChaim, Shar Aleph, Perek Hey, he actually describes that the soul of Klal Yisrael, Knesset Yisrael, again, I don't really understand these Kabbalistic concepts, but it sounds like from there also that the soul is on a higher level than the angels. That it's on the Kisei HaKavod, whereas the angels sound, even the Chayos, it sounds like are on a lower level. And not only that, but we learned that the angels are called Omdim, meaning they stay where they are, they stand where they are. That the angels really don't have free will, they're just messengers of Hashem, whereas a human being has the power to make effects and to change the spiritual world. The spiritual world is changed based on man's actions. So I think really here he's referring to just that the source of a soul is higher than that of the angels, the spiritual part of a human. And just also, I just wanted to add to that not only that, but our souls actually make effects in the spiritual world, which the angels can't even do. And then he says, beyond that in this world, the soul, he's going to discuss later how the soul really is repulsed by all physicality and everything that has to do with this world. The soul, especially a Jewish soul, craves ruchnius, craves spirituality, wants to get close to Hashem. So he's saying that it doesn't make sense that God would create us with such a lofty soul, which is created on such a high level, which just wants to get close to Him, and then put us in this physical world where in reality the soul is totally disgusted by the things that are going on here. We'll stop here. Is that good? Should we keep going? Anyone? Any opinions?
Keep going.
Keep going. Okay. Reuven said we're going to keep going, so we're going to keep going. So we're talking about V'hu Mashalim Duhu Zichronim Livracha, the Midrash Koheles from page 35. This is what it says in Koheles. Zul Sharnam V'gam Nefesh Lo Semale Mashal Ma Davar Damer. What's the parable? Li'iruni Shenasa Bas Melech, a city dweller, like a country boy. He marries the princess. Im Yavi La Kol Ma Sheba'olam Einam Chashuvim La Klum. If this city dweller, just picture a guy from West Virginia, no offense to people who live in West Virginia, and like a farm boy, and he marries the princess, he marries the president's daughter. Shehi Bas Melech, any gifts that he brings the princess, they're totally worthless to her, because she's a princess, she's used to such fancy things, and what kind of gifts is he going to be able to bring to the princess? Kacha Nefesh, so too is the soul. Ilu He Vesel Kol Ma'adani Olam, if we bring the soul all the pleasures of this world, Einam Klumla, it's nothing to the soul. Meaning the soul has absolutely no enjoyment from the physical pleasures in this world. Eating Linzer tarts is not enjoyable to the soul. Lama? Shehi min elyonim, because really the soul is from the spiritual world, right? As we mentioned many times, a human being has the physical component, which is drawn to this world, but we also have the spiritual component, which is drawn to the spirituality into Olam Haba. V'chein Amar Rabbi Seinu Zichrono Livracha, as our rabbi said, Al Korach Ratanaitzav Al Korach Ratanailad, where are forced to be created, meaning the soul doesn't want to come down to this world. Hashem forces us to come down to this world to be born, because the soul would rather be up there and cling to Hashem. Ki ein hanasham oheves Olam Haza klal. The soul does not like this world at all. Ala adrabah mo'eses bo. On the contrary, it's totally disgusted by this world. Im kain, if so, vade lo hayabori habore yisbarach bria letachlis shu neged chuka v'nimas mimena. Another thing, since God created us with a soul, and the soul is totally repulsed by this world, it's totally illogical to say that God would create us with a soul and put it in a place that it's repulsed by. Right? Since the soul cleaves to ruchnius, cleaves to spirituality, wants to get close to Hashem, it doesn't make any sense that God would put it in this physical world. So rather, again, the theme, what he's saying is that we were created for Olam Haba. V'alkei nitna bo neshama zos. Therefore, we have this soul. Ki lo roy la'avod. Uval yuchol ha'adam lekabel aschar. B'mekomo uzmano shelo yeh davar nimas el nishmaso ka'olam hazeh el adrab ne'ev v'nechman mimena v'zeh pashut. Rather, Hashem put the soul into this world, a place that it's totally repulsed to work for the reward, where it's going to go to Olam Haba, and that's really where it wants to go. So we have this holy soul, and we have the ability to come close to Hashem, and we're in this world that our bodies go after, where we get hungry, we have other physical desires, and the neshama just wants to get close to Hashem. It says that anyone who is not Isaac in Torah, someone who doesn't learn Torah, is called a nazaf, and it says nezem zav ba'af chazir. The Rabbi Feldman always quotes this. It's like putting a gold ring in a pig's nostril. Where the guy has a pet pig, and he wants to beautify his pig. So what does he do? He gives it a golden ring in its nose. What does the pig use the nose for? He uses this golden ring to just dig deeper in the muck, in the dirt, because he doesn't realize, it's a golden ring. So meaning that God gave us a soul, He gave us an intellect. We're supposed to use the soul and the intellect to get close to Hashem, but what do people do with it? People waste it. They come up with more creative ways to be involved in the physical world, right? It's not just that people go after their physical taivas, but they come up with more creative ways to get more physical and more in their taivas and more in their physical pleasures and to enhance their yetzer haras. They use this golden ring that Hashem gave us to actually dig into the dirt deeper and deeper. But the point is that we have a neshama, we have a soul, and we have an intellect, which we have to use it correctly, which is to do mitzvahs and learn Torah and get close to Hashem and use those the powers that we have for the true purpose, which is Olam Haba, because we don't want to be like that guy who is just trying to get rocks and forgets about the diamonds. The purpose of life is to just get as many diamonds as we can. Any questions? Sure. So on page 37.